I should really count up all the times that we've talked about Elon Musk's purchase of Twitter this year on the show and on the bonus show, because it seems like every other day we've been talking about this whole saga. Because before the deal was made, there was all this back and forth. There were questions about whether Elon could actually buy Twitter, and then if he could back out from the deal. And then ever since he's taken over, there's been all these updates as to what the hell is happening over at that company. And I find it important to provide the updates because it's one of these things where you have this high profile person, the richest person on the planet, taking control of one of the most important social media sites. And he's been making a lot of mistakes and costing himself and the company a lot of money in the process. And there's this question now over whether Twitter will be able to survive, and it's turned into this total cesspool lately because of the low staff and low level of enforcement. Well, the latest story is that Twitter is going to be relaunching its verification program this week. Earlier this month, you may remember that Twitter changed from having those coveted blue checks verifying high-profile figures being something that was instituted automatically for people with a big audience to something that you could pay $8 a month for, even if you're not some high-profile figure yourself. As long as you're willing to pay up, you could get that highly coveted blue check. Now, the first draft of this proposal failed miserably because with the rollout and the lack of moderation, there was just a great deal of impersonation accounts with people paying for the blue check, and it became clear you just wouldn't be able to trust anyone with this new system. You couldn't tell if people were actually who they say they were. Then Elon jumped in and said that impersonators and parody accounts would receive a permanent suspension with no warning. You had people impersonating Elon himself, and you had one account impersonating the pharmaceutical giant Eli Lilly, which tweeted that insulin was free, causing the company's stock to take a nosedive. So it's all had some great consequences, and it's all been chaos. And even aside from all of this is the reality that, it's really taken the whole point of being verified if you can just pay for the service, because, there's really not that much clout to being able to afford the $8 a month charge. And at the same time, the point of verification is to know with certainty that people are who they are. You take that away if it's something that people can just pay for. And there's really no sense in just an average Joe being verified, because who's trying to impersonate their account to begin with? Nobody. So Elon has been making so many different mistakes. Now what he's trying to do is add this color-coded system for verification. He tweeted recently, "Sorry for the delay. We're tentatively launching verified on Friday next week. Gold check for companies, gray check for government, blue for individuals, celebrity or not, and all verified accounts will be manually authenticated before check activates. Painful but necessary." So from that post, it's unclear how exactly their verification process is going to work, and if you're even improving anything from the first round that was a total disaster. Maybe an individual user will no longer be able to pretend to be a company or a government agency, but that doesn't help all that much because there's still plenty of celebrities that they can still impersonate because they will have the same color check as the people who were high profile. I think this idea altogether is a total mess. I think you need a verification process so that news outlets and just everyday people can know that when they see someone is tweeting something, that it's actually that person and not someone else. Another problem Twitter will continue to have is all of these employees leaving. How are you going to have enough people to manually verify all of these different accounts? It just sounds like a total nightmare. We know, of course, that Elon's goal behind launching this paid service was to increase revenue over the company because they've been having difficulty doing that. And when you're subject to the whims of advertisers, it means that you're not well diversified as a company because, you're just not all that recession proof. If companies have less money to advertise, then your revenue will plummet. And I'm certain that probably happened this year with the scale down in the economy that took place in 2022. So maybe they want to just open up other streams of income so you can be a little bit more well balanced, but it doesn't necessarily mean that this is the right way to go about doing it. This never seemed to be the solution to me anyway, paying for verification, especially when you look into the numbers. There are apparently about 200 million Twitter users, and they say that doesn't really include dead accounts and accounts that people haven't used in a long time, but I think the realistic number is probably significantly less than that. And if you also have a smaller portion of people who are willing to actually pay for the Twitter Blue how much money are you really going to be able to raise from this system? Is it going to be anything that compares to the $5 billion of revenue that you did in 2021? Is it going to make that much of a difference? And if so, does it make up for the lack of credibility that you have, the sort of trustworthiness that you give up by changing this verification system over? My sense is that it's probably not going to be worth it, but Elon is trying. He's trying to come up with innovative ideas to bring about an extra stream of revenue coming in, but this one seems to be a total disaster, and it doesn't seem like it's working well and that people are open to it.